Today we're going to explore some spelling changes that happen to root words when we add the ER suffix. But before we do that, let's start by talking about some things you probably already know about ER. So you might already know that ER is a suffix, It comes at the end of words, and it can change the meaning of the words. You might know that has a couple of different meanings, and one of the meanings that it can have is more. You might also know that sometimes when we add it to a word, we have to change the spelling of the word a little bit, and that's what we're going to explore a bit today. So to get us started today, I have a message to share with you. Dear friends, this morning I went for my walk earlier than normal. The sun glistened on the grass that was wetter with morning dew than usual. I walked for so long that I got home later than I had planned. It was such a lovely walk. Has that ever happened to you? You've gone out for a walk and you've been gone longer than you expected? More long than you thought you'd be gone? Yeah, you kind of have to shift your plans a bit for the day as a result. So what I want to talk with you about today is what happens to some words when we add the ER suffix. So, for example, you might have noticed in the message the word earlier. This morning I went for my walk earlier than normal, right? You might have noticed that spelling might look a little bit unusual to you. So, oftentimes when we add the suffix to a word, the inflectional ending to a word, there's not going to be any sort of spelling change. So for example, if I wanted to make fast into faster, all I would have to do is snap on that ER suffix, right? Faster. My root word wouldn't change at all, right? Just same thing with, let's think of low, right? Lower. Right? I don't have to make a change there. But that's not always the case. Sometimes when we add suffixes or inflectional endings to words, there's a little bit of a spelling change. And the reason this happens is usually to make words easier for us to pronounce and easier they're just going to look more right to us. So today I want to explore with you what happens in words like early. So this one I went for my walk earlier than normal. So I went more early than I usually do. So if we look at the word early, you'll notice that root word ends in a Y, right? When you have a root word that ends in a Y, before you add that ER suffix, you're going to drop that Y and change it to an I and add ER. So it's going to look like this. Earlier. And really the reason this happens is to make it easier for us to say. Like, look how odd that looks if we just added that ER like we did with faster or shorter, right? Earlier, right? It doesn't look right, and we don't really have this pattern. This looks like yer, doesn't it? We don't say earlier, right? We say earlier. So to make that spelling, make it a little easy for us to pronounce, we just change the Y to an I and add ER. So let's explore this spelling pattern because it happens quite a bit, and it probably happens in a lot of words that you use a lot in your writing. Okay. So I have a chart here. We're going to start. Just move it down here. Okay. So we know one thing that happens when we have a root word that ends in Y, like early. We need to drop the Y, right, and add IER to add that suffix. Let me get this up here. So we have early. We need to drop the Y, make an I, and add ER, and we're going to get earlier. Okay. Let's see what other words this might happen in. So you might use the word pretty often in your writing, right? Like the trees look so pretty in the fall with all the different colors. Pretty. So take a look at the word pretty. What do you notice about the root word? Right, it ends in a Y, doesn't it? So if I wanted to say the trees are pretty in the fall when they change colors, but I think they're prettier in the summer when they're all blooming in green, what might I do? Right, because my root word ends in a Y, I'm going to drop the Y and make an I and add ER, and pretty is going to become prettier. See how that makes it easier for us to say prettier. Okay. So let's add that to our chart here. Pretty to prettier. What other words can you think of that you use a lot in your writing that might end in a Y? And we can explore some of those words. So you might use the word happy a lot, right? If you write personal narratives about times in your life that were happy, this is a useful word. Happy. So take a look at happy. So there's an example of the root word ending in a Y. So if I was going to change happy to happier, what would we do? Yeah, we would just drop the Y, add an I, and then snap on that ER suffix, and we would get happier. Do you see how that works? So when a root word ends in a Y, we're often going to drop the Y and add an I before adding that ER suffix. So let's just add happy and happier to our list. Okay. And let's take a look at one more, busy. So you might be very busy at home helping your mom and dad take care of your brothers and sisters, or maybe you're very busy with sports. Busy. So what do you notice about the root word? Right, it ends in a Y. So if I wanted to change busy to busier, what would we do? I think I heard you say it. We just drop the Y, add an I, and then snap on our ER ending, and we get busier. So let's add that. Now, do you think the meanings of these words change at all when we have those spelling changes? No, the meanings don't change, right? Busier still means more busy. Happier still means more happy, right? We just drop the Y, change it to an I, and add ER to make the word easier for us to pronounce. So when you're writing and you're working with root words that end in Y and you want to add on that ER suffix, just play with that pattern of dropping the Y and then adding an I and ER, and notice how that looks, and notice how it helps you be able to say the word a little more easily. And we'll explore a couple more patterns tomorrow. Thanks.